Welcome back to another video. Today we have the Shredder event ongoing. Now, fortunately for me, I was able to pull a Super Soul for him during the Deck of Fates event where I was opening a bunch of those soul shards to be able to get Raphael unlocked. We were able to ultimately get Raphael, but my point is that I don't really need to go all too hard on the tournament chase event or summon chase event, champion chase event, tournament, champion chase tournament, excuse me, event, because it's an event too, for Shredder's Super Souls. But what I do need is I do want the pizza. So we got to get the pizza. So today we're going to be opening some shards to see if we can get us a little bit closer to that. But first, we do have a quick word from today's video sponsors. Download and get started today on a brand new account for Raid Shadow Legends using my code down below in the description. You'll help me out tremendously and I greatly appreciate it. And when you do, you'll get access to Elenaril the Legendary at the sign up. You'll also get Uugo, an Epic champion at level 10, Lightsworn, another Epic at level 20, and Tagoar, an Epic at level 30. You also can use Desert Queen to unlock the legendary two-hander rock. Get started today and get over $200 worth of free goodies, and it helps me out again tremendously, so I'd greatly appreciate it. All right, so let's go ahead and go in. So just for a quick look at this, I want the pizza for April. I don't think April's all that. She seems useful, and I don't have a ton of legendaries, and I want the limited characters, so I'll go ahead and go for her, of course. But I don't think she's all that. But anyway, we're going to open some void shards, and if we get epics and legendaries, that'd be great, of course. That's going to be a pretty good ratio for us. Otherwise, I'm going to sit on my sacreds for another day at some point. But if you guys started playing the game through my link, firstly, I got to say a huge shout out to you. Thank you. I really appreciate it. It helps me a lot. And let me know in the comments how your experience has been starting out. And quick tip, if you are just starting, make sure that you guys are doing everything you can to log in, participate in the events, and maybe, I don't, honestly, to be completely honest with you, as a new player, you're probably not going to do too great in these tournaments and stuff like that. They'll put you in a lower shard though, so maybe you'll do good, I don't know, depends on your level of engagement, but make sure you're doing everything you can for Michelangelo at the bare minimum. All right, so let's go ahead and do a summon here and see what we can get. So we're gonna go one at a time, and there will be some champions in here that may be pretty useful. I'm not so familiar with every single champion here. Let's see what we have here from Painkiller. Attack all enemies, then heals all allies. Attacks one enemy 2 times, fills turn meter. Decrease the cooldown of all ally skills by 1. That's solid. This skill can have its cooldown reduced by other skills. That's a really good ability, actually. Everything else in here is kind of meh, but that's a really good ability, actually. All right, let's go back in. At the bare minimum, those characters like that are at least good in faction, right? So at the bare minimum. We don't need 50s, so don't give me 50s, which means no rares, please. Thank you. All right, attacks one enemy 3 times. Each hit heals this champion by 3% of their max HP. Attacks all enemies 2 times. Each hit has a 50% chance of placing a 25% attack debuff for 2 turns. Also places a shield buff on all champions, equal to 20% of this champion's max. The ascended skill here, place a 15% strengthen on all allies. Also places a provoke on an enemy. Solid. This is okay. Just another okay champion. Those are characters that you can use though. Especially as an early player, you can use those characters. They've got good traits like a strengthen. That cooldown thing was pretty good on the first champion. Decrease speed here, extra hit, 30% decrease speed, that's solid. Attack all enemies. Each crit fills this champion's turn meter. Increase accuracy buff on all allies. Low key is extremely good. 50% increase, pretty good. Then attacks all enemies. Has a 75% chance of placing a 30% defense decrease for 2 turns. This guy's actually legit. The 30% isn't great, but that combination, I think, certainly for an early player, if you happen to pull him, that's pretty useful. He's pretty legit. Still not getting any epics, though. I'm not even asking for a legendary. I just need epics. Places a shield buff on all allies equal to 15% of this champion's max HP. By the way, these are all champions I've never seen before. Attacks one enemy, heals the ally with the lowest HP by 7.5% of the damage inflicted. Removes all debuffs from an ally with the lowest HP, then heals them. Yeah, he's just another champion. I think I'd rank the other characters higher than him personally, but it is what it is. Another rare. Clearly, they hate me. Attacks 3 times at random before attacking. Place a 25% increase accuracy buff on this champion for 2 turns. Each hit has a 50% chance of placing an HP burn debuff for 2 turns. Ooh, nice. Attacks all enemies has a 50% chance of increasing the duration of all HP burn debuffs by 1 turn. I like this ability. I actually like this ability a lot with like Tundra, I believe. Or Geomancer. Some other burn characters. That's actually okay. Heals this champion by 10% of their max HP. Heals this champion by 20% if when attacking a target under an HP burn. Boosts this champion by 5% turn meter each time an HP burn debuff is activated. Interesting. I'm sure there's some niche use case there. At least an epic. I'll take it. Thank you. Lizard Man. Slixus Stripe High. That is certainly the name of all time. Attack all enemies, or attack, oh, he's an arena aura there. Attack for all allies, excuse me, goes up in arena. Increases champions crit damage by 10% every time they kill an enemy. Stack up to 30 times. 30%. This stack will not reset upon death. If this champion's Blades of Finality skill kills an enemy, the next skill they use will ignore 30% of the target's defense. What's this, the normal? No. Wait, where the hell? Where is Blades of Finality? Where is Dragon Shuriken, Harmonious Strike? Oh, here it is. I'm being dumb. Absolutely being dumb. I thought that one was probably not it because it looks like, I don't know, the icon made me think it was defense, something to do with defense. Attacks all enemies before attacking. Place a 30% increased crit rate buff and a 30% crit damage buff for this champion for 2 turns. But he also gets the crit damage when he kills, and that doesn't reset if he happens to die, so you can just bring him back. If he kills with this next skill, he also will ignore 30% defense on his next move. Attacks one enemy 2 times. Each hit will ignore shield, increase defense, and strengthen. Each hit also heals this champion by 20% of the damage inflicted. So he's got like a leech type ability in there for himself. So if this skill that hits twice kills and it ignores all that stuff, that's when you get the extra stuff there. Interesting. Attacks one enemy 2 times. Each hit has a 15% chance of placing a stun debuff. If this guy had AoEs, like pure A, he has one here on the Shuriken, but if he had pure AoEs, I bet he'd be really good. Otherwise, he just seems kind of okay. But again, another high ranking from the player base on Faction War, which is understandable because I'm sure he wrecks Faction War. That's not a surprise to me. All right, let's go in again. Another rare because they still hate me. He's a pup though, so I can't be mad. Glade Wolf. Places a counterattack buff on this champion for 2 turns. Also places a ally protection for 2 turns on all champions except this champion. 50% chance of placing a provoke debuff for 1 turn, attacking all enemies. Attacks one enemy 3 times. Each hit has a 35% chance of placing a decreased speed. Solid. You're doing it again. You just, like I've said it enough. Dented the Tusk Knight. Provoke, strengthen, attack all enemies, 25% strengthen buff for 2 turns on all allies. Shield buff on this champion for 2 turns equal to 10% of this champion's max HP. Strengthen is good, but the rest of the kit isn't par in my opinion. Pretty sure I've seen Painsmith before, or someone that looks extremely similar. Oh, we got absolutely railed, unfortunately. We got all rares and 1 epic. I couldn't get like 3 epics. Unfortunate. What can you do? It is what it is. Where did we get? So I got 100 pizzas. Tell me points. Load, tell me I'm close to 3,000 points. You won't. Oh. We are not even close. That is brutal. We got a day and 10 hours. I doubt that within the next day and 10 hours, they'll run a boost for any other shards. So I'm going to have to spam open some of the weaker shards, which is not abnormal, but I will not be touching any of the good shards because there's no boosting. At least with this one, they had a 2x chance of epics, and then there's a further boost for Shredder if you wanted Shredder. I've already got Shredder again, but I'm not going to touch any of the other ones because this is like an inopportune time. It would be nice if by chance they ran double. They typically have a little roadmap in there. I don't see it. There's also a champion training, so I can level up and get rid of all this food that we're getting, as the community calls it, all this fodder we don't need. So 2 birds with 1 stone. It just requires much more input from me, but not mad at it. It is what it is. All right, guys. So unfortunately, our shard opening did not go good at all. Frankly, it was pretty bad. But we got some stuff, right? We got some stuff that could potentially be useful. We did at least get 100 of the pizzas. I need another 600 pizzas. Actually, we're closer. So what is that? 700 pizzas, actually, to complete this. 710. So there's 200 there. There's about a week left, even, just give or take, just under, right? 6 hours, 14 days. 6 days, 14 hours, excuse me. I am curious about the event schedule for this because they've been running pizzas in almost everything. I'm curious about how they're going to crunch this. There's probably going to be a bit of a crunch. You can see the upcoming events here. 2x boost is on for voids. 10x boost is up for, I assume that's just the featured champion thing that we saw. Champ training, arena tank down, Shredder's Wrath, champion chase. There's no other boosts in there for anything else, so I'm going to have to do a lot of inputs. But I'm curious about the pizzas for April and how that'll look. I'm also curious about what they're going to do for Donatello. I don't think he's had a free event or anything like that, so we'll see what happens potentially. But hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you hit that thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you happen to be new, and check out the game as well. Even though I had bad luck, who's to say your luck wouldn't be better? If you get started today, you can get a awesome starter pack, like I said earlier, featuring all that stuff, plus Michelangelo and some other early codes you guys can get access to exclusively for new players as well, like champions like Bellower that are pretty solid. So now is the perfect time to join and get started with Raid Shadow Legends. And if you do start, it does help me out personally, and if you're a fan of my content, I'd greatly appreciate it, and thank you so much if you've given it a shot. Let me know in the comments as well how that goes. Thank you so much. I'll see you in the next video.